Hi, my name is Elizabeth Cox, and I'm just going to take a couple minutes of your time. Thank you very much, and tell you a little bit of an interesting story. If you ever wonder if you make impact in other people's lives, I think you'll appreciate this. It was a 5-minute conversation at how it changed people's lives. So anyway, I was looking at apartments here in Chicago. Didn't end up renting one, but I ended up looking at this guy's apartment over on the north side, and he's showing it to me. He's carrying a glass of wine, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm celebrating." And I said, "Oh, what are you celebrating?" And he goes, "Well, I just finished my book, and I just signed off on publication for it." And, I love reading, so of course I start talking to him about it, and he tells me he wrote this book. His name's Mark Phillips, by the way, and he has a wine tasting television show on PBS. I'd never met him before. Oh, but I do have the show, so here you go. So anyway, he gives me a little lowdown of his background and what his book is about. And he tells me, well, this book is called Swallow This, and it's the progressive way to wine tasting. It's for young people. It's edgy. He gives me a little spiel about it. It just sounds amazing. And I said, can I see it? And so he pulls it up on his computer screen, and I'm looking at it, and it's one of those moments in your life where I'm sure it was awesome, and I don't know the first thing about writing a book on wine tasting, but my initial reaction was not what he was looking for. He said, "So what do you think?" And I said, "Do you really want to know?" And his face kind of, goes like this, and he was like, "Yeah." And I said, you told me about this great edgy book, and then I look at it, and it kind of looks like any other wine tasting book to me anyway, and it had like a maroon front, and it's just kind of static. There's nothing wrong with it. It was nice, but I said, with the Swallow This, that kind of like edgy title, and what you told me the book's about, I would love to see a book with you on the front just chugging a bottle of wine. And so, I have a graphic design background, so we just talk a little bit about what fonts mean and things like that. So I get this email from him the next morning that he couldn't stop thinking about our conversation, and that over the course of time I get emails. He decides to change what the book is looks like and feel, and about what's on his cover. And I get an email from him 2 weeks ago wanting to meet up because the book was done. So I have the book. I met up with him, very nice man. And here's the book. Let me tell you a couple things off of the back. The following are just some of the topics covered by this book. When to microwave wine, what wine is best for wild sex, when to freeze wine, the most amazing way to open a bottle of sparkling wine that will make you giddy, and there's more. And I've been reading it. It's funny. It's his story. He's a very interesting entrepreneur who has a background from Texas, running famous people around, to having his own television show. The book comes out November 23rd. And but it's just interesting to me how often taking time out of your day and trying to be useful and helpful to somebody else, you can impact people for the positive and make change. And actually, let me read you one page out of here that I think is kind of cute. I was so embarrassed when he read this to me, but we're in acknowledgments, very first page. The following are people that have a special place in my heart. Elizabeth Cox, for instance, that's me. I only met once, but during the 5-minute conversation, she said something that made a huge difference in how this book turned out. And then he goes on to his parents and siblings, which I personally probably would have thanked first, but I'm sure they got personal thanks. And this comes out November 23rd at Borders or Amazon or wherever you get your stuff, and I hope you read it. Thank you.